Welcome to the Executive Summary. Most people never read Atomic Habits by James Clear. Today, you're going to get the ideas that matter most from it in a fraction of the time. If that is the kind of edge you're looking for, like this video and subscribe now. Here is what you need to know. Most leaders believe that significant, lasting change requires monumental effort or a complete overhaul of their strategies. James Clear, after years of studying peak performers across diverse fields, found the opposite to be true. True transformation stems not from grand gestures, but from the relentless accumulation of tiny, almost imperceptible improvements. To ignore this principle is to perpetuate a cycle of ambitious resolutions followed by inevitable frustration, leaving your team's potential untapped and your own leadership impact diminished. You risk mistaking activity for progress and grand pronouncements for tangible results, ultimately undermining the very culture of continuous improvement you seek to foster. By the conclusion of this analysis, you will possess a precise framework for engineering consistent, high-leverage behaviors within yourself and your organization. You will understand how to construct systems that predictably lead to desired outcomes, shifting from the fleeting pursuit of goals to the enduring cultivation of mastery. Clear's work, informed by extensive research in biology, psychology, and neuroscience, has been adopted by CEOs, military commanders, and elite athletes globally, proving its efficacy in diverse high-stakes environments. This is not merely theory, but a blueprint for tangible, sustained progress. Let us now delve into the foundational principles that underpin this profound shift in understanding human behavior and organizational dynamics. Published in 2018, James Clear's Atomic Habits swiftly transcended the self-help genre to become a seminal text in the broader discourse on performance, leadership, and organizational development. Clear, an author, speaker, and entrepreneur, is distinguished by his rare ability to distill complex scientific principles concerning habits, decision-making, and continuous improvement into eminently actionable strategies. His methodology is not anecdotal. It is meticulously grounded in research spanning biology, psychology, and neuroscience, bridging the gap between academic insight and real-world application. The core problem Atomic Habits addresses is a pervasive and often debilitating misconception: the belief that meaningful change necessitates Herculean effort or a radical, disruptive transformation of one's life or organization. This perspective invariably leads to frustration and failure when grand resolutions inevitably falter, leaving individuals and teams feeling inadequate or perpetually behind. Clear systematically dismantles this paradigm, demonstrating that such an approach is not only inefficient, but fundamentally misaligned with how human behavior truly operates. This book achieved landmark status in leadership literature precisely because it offers a practical, evidence-based framework for cultivating consistent, high-leverage behaviors that are the bedrock of long-term organizational excellence and personal mastery. It fundamentally shifts the focus from the often elusive pursuit of outcome-based goals to the robust, predictable construction of identity-based systems. It is a manual for engineering success rather than merely wishing for it. Atomic Habits is not merely read. It is studied and implemented by a diverse cohort of high achievers. CEOs navigating complex corporate landscapes, senior executives refining their leadership efficacy, entrepreneurs scaling ventures, military commanders fostering disciplined units, professional athletes optimizing performance, and coaches cultivating winning teams. Its appeal lies in its universal applicability, providing a common language and methodology for anyone committed to fostering high-performance cultures and achieving sustained personal and professional growth. Clear's central argument is both elegant and profoundly impactful. Meaningful, lasting change is not achieved through monumental shifts, but through the accumulation of tiny, consistent improvements, what he terms atomic habits. These small, seemingly insignificant actions, when compounded over time, produce remarkable, often exponential, results. It is a testament to the power of marginal gains, presenting a compelling case that mastery is not about grand gestures, but about the relentless commitment to these daily increments. The first foundational principle articulated by Clear is arguably the most counterintuitive for many ambitious leaders. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. True, sustainable progress, Clear argues, emerges from the deliberate construction of effective systems that automatically guide behavior towards desired outcomes, rather than an exclusive fixation on the outcomes themselves. Clear posits that goals serve a valuable function in setting direction and providing clarity regarding what one wishes to achieve. However, they are insufficient for making consistent progress. If one desires superior results, the emphasis must shift from the goal to the underlying system. A system, in this context, is defined as the collection of daily habits that, when consistently applied, inevitably lead to the desired outcome. Consider a football coach whose goal is to win a championship. While the goal provides motivation, it is the system, how they recruit talent, structure training sessions, manage team dynamics, and execute game day strategies that ultimately delivers the championship. Without a robust system, the goal remains an aspiration, perpetually out of reach. A compelling real-world illustration of this principle is Satya Nadella's tenure as CEO of Microsoft. Upon assuming leadership, Nadella did not merely declare a goal to revitalize Microsoft. Instead, he meticulously implemented a systemic shift focused on cultivating a growth mindset culture throughout the organization. This involved a deliberate emphasis on learning, empathy, and collaboration, replacing a previously entrenched internal competitive environment. This systemic re-engineering of how employees thought, interacted, and approached problems, rather than simply setting new product development goals, led to a dramatic and sustained turnaround, fostering innovation and significantly increasing market value. The system, not just the goal, drove the transformation. Viewer challenge. Consider one critical outcome your team or organization needs to achieve in the coming quarter. What specific, repeatable system, composed of daily or weekly habits, can you implement this week to consistently move towards that outcome, rather than merely hoping for its attainment? The second principle, make it obvious, introduces the first of Clear's 4 laws of behavior change. To successfully build a good habit, its cue must be rendered overt and unavoidable. Clear asserts that our environment acts as an invisible hand, subtly, yet powerfully, shaping our behavior. By consciously designing our environment, we can significantly increase the likelihood of desired actions occurring. Clear elaborates that the human brain is perpetually scanning its surroundings for cues that signal opportunities for action. By strategically making the cues for beneficial habits more prominent and, conversely, making the cues for detrimental habits less visible, we can effectively nudge ourselves towards positive behaviors. This strategy manifests in 2 primary techniques: habit stacking and environment design. Habit stacking involves pairing a new, desired habit with an existing, well-established one. For instance, after I pour my morning coffee, I will review my strategic priorities for 15 minutes. Environment design, on the other hand, entails arranging one's physical or digital surroundings to make good habits effortless and bad habits inconvenient. Consider a church pastor who struggles to consistently begin sermon preparation early in the week. By implementing this principle, the pastor might, every evening before bed, place their laptop open, with sermon notes and their Bible laid out on the desk. This ensures that upon waking, these items are the first things seen, creating an immediate and undeniable visual cue that prompts the desired action of beginning sermon writing, making the habit's initiation almost automatic. The environment has been primed to make the cue unavoidable. Viewer challenge. Identify a key leadership behavior you aspire to cultivate, such as providing consistent positive feedback or dedicating time to strategic planning. How can you redesign your physical or digital environment to make the cue for that specific behavior so obvious that it becomes virtually impossible to ignore? The third principle, make it attractive, is the second of Clear's 4 laws. To ensure a habit sticks, it must be imbued with appeal. This involves consciously associating good habits with positive feelings and immediate rewards, thereby leveraging the brain's inherent dopamine-driven reward system. Clear explains that human beings are fundamentally more inclined to repeat behaviors that are perceived as enjoyable or that promise pleasure. He proposes techniques such as temptation bundling, where an action one wants to do is paired with an action one needs to do. For example, only allowing oneself to listen to a favorite podcast while performing a necessary administrative task. Another approach is reframing habits to focus on their immediate benefits rather than their distant outcomes. Our brains release dopamine not merely when pleasure is experienced, but crucially, when pleasure is anticipated. This anticipation is a powerful motivator. Imagine a sales manager who wishes to ensure their team consistently updates CRM records, a vital, yet often perceived as tedious, administrative task. To make this habit attractive, the manager might implement a system where the team receives 15 minutes of dedicated free time for personal tasks or a shared coffee break, immediately after everyone has completed their daily CRM update. This creates a bundled reward, making the completion of the necessary task attractive through the immediate, positive reinforcement of a desired activity. The team learns to associate the completion of the CRM update with a pleasant, immediate payoff. Viewer challenge. Pinpoint a crucial but frequently avoided task within your leadership responsibilities. How can you genuinely bundle something attractive or enjoyable with the completion of that task to significantly increase your motivation to perform it consistently? The fourth principle, make it easy, constitutes the third of Clear's 4 laws. To embed a habit firmly, one must meticulously reduce the friction associated with its execution. The less effort a habit demands, the more probable it becomes that it will be performed, even if the reduction in effort is seemingly minor. Clear underscores the profound influence of the law of least effort. Human nature, he observes, inherently gravitates towards the path of least resistance. To cultivate beneficial habits, it is imperative to minimize the number of steps required to initiate them. This strategy encompasses priming the environment, which involves preparing one's surroundings for the next desired action, and the 2-minute rule. The 2-minute rule suggests that a new habit should be initiated with a version that can be completed in less than 2 minutes. The objective is not to achieve the full outcome, but simply to start the habit, making the entry point incredibly low friction. Consider a military commander aiming to enhance team cohesion and physical fitness among their unit. To make the habit of morning physical training easier, the commander might ensure that all necessary equipment, uniforms, boots, water bottles, is laid out and ready the night before. Furthermore, the designated meeting point for PT would be easily accessible, well lit, and clearly marked. By systematically removing any potential points of friction, such as searching for gear in the dark or navigating a complex route, the commander drastically increases the likelihood that every member will participate, eliminating excuses and making the desired activity the path of least resistance. Viewer challenge. Reflect on a leadership behavior you wish to make more consistent, such as delegating effectively or providing timely, constructive feedback. What is the single most significant point of friction or resistance that currently prevents you from performing this behavior? And how can you eliminate or drastically reduce that friction this week? The fifth principle, make it satisfying, is the final of Clear's 4 laws. To ensure a habit endures, it must be made immediately gratifying. We are inherently more inclined to repeat a behavior when the experience itself is rewarding, even if the ultimate, long-term benefit is delayed. Clear highlights a fundamental challenge. While the long-term rewards of positive habits, such as improved health from exercise or career advancement from consistent learning, are often significant, they are typically delayed. Our brains, however, are wired for immediate gratification. To counteract this inherent bias, we must devise methods to make the process of performing good habits immediately satisfying. This can involve tangible visual markers of progress, such as a habit tracker where one physically checks off completion, or the implementation of small, immediate, and positive reinforcements that signal success. Consider an entrepreneur diligently working on a complex, long-term product launch, a project whose ultimate success may be months or even years away. To maintain motivation and reinforce consistent effort, the entrepreneur might create a prominent visual progress board in their office. Each time a key development task is completed, a coding module finished, a marketing asset approved, a vendor contract signed, they move a physical token or conspicuously mark off a significant milestone on the board. This provides immediate, tangible satisfaction for incremental progress, creating a powerful feedback loop that reinforces the desired habits, even when the major outcome remains distant. Viewer challenge. For a habit you're actively trying to build or reinforce within your team, how can you create an immediate, visible, and satisfying reward or recognition for its completion, even if the major results of that habit are still far off in the future? The sixth, and perhaps most profound lesson from Atomic Habits is that true, enduring behavior change is fundamentally identity change. Instead of focusing solely on what you wish to achieve, outcome-based goals, or what you wish to do, process-based habits, the most effective approach is to focus on who you wish to become, allowing your habits to serve as undeniable evidence of that desired identity. Clear argues that shifting one's focus from external results to internal identity is the most potent catalyst for sustained change. When habits align with your desired self-image, they cease to be burdensome tasks and instead become natural extensions of who you perceive yourself to be. This makes them significantly easier to initiate and maintain. For example, instead of saying, "I need to exercise 3 times a week," outcome/process, one adopts the identity, "I am an active person." The habits then flow naturally from this self-perception. A senior pastor aspiring to be a more impactful communicator exemplifies this. Rather than merely setting a goal like, "I need to write a better sermon," outcome-focused, or a process-oriented habit like, "I need to spend 3 hours writing today," the pastor embraces the identity. "I am a diligent and inspiring teacher who prepares thoroughly." This core identity then naturally drives consistent habits of deep study, reflective contemplation, meticulous sermon outlining, and dedicated practice sessions. The habits are no longer external obligations, but intrinsic expressions of who they are becoming. Viewer challenge. As a leader, what is one core identity you aspire to embody within your role, for example? "I am a decisive leader," "I am a servant leader," "I am an innovative leader." What small, daily habit can you adopt this week that provides undeniable evidence of that identity, thereby reinforcing who you are actively becoming? To translate these powerful insights into immediate, tangible progress within your leadership practice, we propose 3 concrete actions you can implement this week. Move 1. The Habit Scorecard. This week, commit to tracking your daily habits for 2 consecutive days. From the moment you wake until you retire for the night, meticulously record every action you take. This includes everything from checking emails, attending meetings, making decisions, to engaging in personal routines. Once you have this comprehensive list, review each habit and objectively categorize it. Mark a plus for habits that are beneficial and align with your desired outcomes, a minus for habits that are detrimental or counterproductive, and an equals for neutral habits. This exercise provides an unvarnished, objective view of your current operating systems, revealing both hidden inefficiencies and overlooked opportunities for improvement. It is the first step in conscious habit design. Move 2. Environment Design Audit. Select one critical leadership habit you are determined to build or strengthen, perhaps consistent strategic thinking, effective delegation, or providing timely feedback. Now conduct a focused environment design audit specifically for that habit. Identify all the cues, both physical and digital, within your current surroundings that either facilitate or hinder the performance of this habit. For instance, if you want to delegate more, are your team members' skill sets and availability readily visible? If you want to think strategically, is your calendar cluttered with reactive tasks? Following this audit, make one deliberate, tangible change to your physical or digital environment this week to make the cue for your desired habit more obvious or the habit itself significantly easier to initiate. Move 3. The 2-minute rule implementation. Identify one significant task or project that you have been consistently procrastinating on, a report you need to start, a difficult conversation you need to initiate, or a new initiative you need to research. Apply Clear's 2-minute rule by breaking this daunting task down into its absolute smallest, easiest first step, a version that can genuinely be completed in 2 minutes or less. For example, open the document and type the title, or send the meeting invite, or read the first paragraph of the research paper. Commit to doing just that 2-minute version every single day this week. The objective is not to complete the entire task, but to consistently show up, overcome the inertia of starting, and build the habit of initiation. The momentum generated often leads to more. If you found this analysis insightful and believe in the power of applying rigorous frameworks to leadership challenges, we encourage you to engage further with our content. Please take a moment to press the like button below this video. Your engagement helps us understand which topics resonate most deeply with our audience of discerning leaders. Furthermore, subscribe to the Executive Summary channel. By subscribing, you ensure consistent access to meticulously researched and actionable insights from the world's most impactful leadership literature. To guarantee you never miss an episode, activate the notification bell. This ensures you receive immediate updates on our latest releases, keeping you at the forefront of contemporary leadership thinking. Next week, we will be dissecting another seminal work, exploring its core tenets, and extracting actionable strategies for immediate implementation within your professional sphere. Remember, mastery is not about grand gestures, but about the relentless commitment to tiny, marginal gains that, when compounded, unlock extraordinary potential in every aspect of leadership and life. Now you have the core ideas from Atomic Habits by James Clear. The question is which one you